We were born ready, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just like that. And we're back.
I don't need a script.
Hey, you know what? Doug is finally home. Welcome home.
Yeah.
Yay.
For one day.
For one day.
Yeah, I leave in the morning.
Well, hey, we're back with Survived. Doug, Karen, Chris.
Are you sick?
No, I'm not sick, but I lost my voice.
That's bourbon.
No,
bourbon.
it's lack of bourbon.
If you're sick, don't breathe on me
But
because we're going on vacation in a
Let me
week.
tell you, today my vacation started 4 weeks of chill the F out. So I'm here with you. I'm going to fight through it. I might have to clear my throat a couple times. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. All right. We got that theme song going already.
We got enough theme songs killing.
That's right. That's right.
Tyrone.
So we're here with Paul, and there's another beautiful brew sitting in front of us. Paul, you want to tell us what we got?
Here, Paul.
Yeah, this is a repeat. We've had this before. It's Cheyenne's Choice, which was the bourbon barrel aged imperial stout that we did for Yazoo back in November. This is actually the very last of it. So we were able to fill that crowler today.
I love it.
Chris and I had actually poured ourselves glasses of it. Halfway through that, the keg blew, so we had to give up some of our beer to fill that crowler today.
Oh, we appreciate it.
So, but it's a 10.5 ABV. Just delicious. Nice 14 year single barrel Knob Creek bourbon, and
You hear that bourbon?
just awesome.
Bourbon means God loves you.
Enjoy. And I need to. You'll see that the crowler can does not have a label on it. We've got new crowler cans supposed to be delivered Wednesday with a new Eric Lamar graphic on them, and they are awesome. However, I do need to shout out to Playa Linda Brewing Company up in Titusville. They were kind enough to sell us some blank cans, so we didn't have to go without in the interim because we ran out early last week, and Ron and Dylan from Playa Linda were kind enough to sell us some to get us through. So thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Wow. So Dirty Ore continues to support us, continues to support law enforcement, first responders, firefighters, everybody, the whole community. And check that out. So another brewing company in Brevard County, hey, you got to find your way here. If you're not here, if you're not with us in Brevard, come and check us out. I mean, there's lots of new things happening. The companies are taking care of each other. What a great time it's the holidays. We have a wonderful drink with some bourbon taste. I like that a whole lot.
I knew you'd enjoy it.
I appreciate that. And Paul, if we wanted to find you, where are we going to find you at?
We're at 329 King Street in Cocoa Village, just one block east of US 1 on 520. We're actually right next to Norman's on the corner of 520 and Forest. Open Wednesday through Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday. And you got any big events coming up?
The biggest of all is Saturday night for your all holiday party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Party it out.
6 o'clock. You guys be there. Dirty Ore. It's going to be a
Saturday
good time Saturday night.
Oh, we love it.
Yes.
The best little ore house in town. Paul, we thank you for everything that you do for us.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Yep.
We're going to jump right into it. Doug is back. The number has went up, and I say the number of law enforcement completed suicides is up to 211.
15.
215, I'm sorry.
I checked today.
Wow.
215 is what bluehelp.org is saying today.
Right.
I just checked. Yeah, it creeped up on me because I saw 211 maybe a week ago, and then I said, let me check today because usually I hear about it or it comes across my thread, but whatever.
Wow.
215 is too many.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they were recent, obviously, so, this time of the year is
Well, I
pretty
just
rough.
read something today.
You just cut me off
I
already?
did.
I ain't been back in a
did.
damn month,
There
and
it
you're
is.
cutting me off,
Welcome
man.
home.
Holy crap, man. God damn, I ain't been here in got me cussing on Christmas,
That's all right.
using
That's
the
right.
Lord's name in vain. Sorry, God, she makes me like this, man. Holy freaking crap, man.
Well, this kind of just goes along with the theme because we're going to persevere through all of this, right? Blow it off.
Persevere,
No,
man. Oh,
I-
my God.
I was going to say, I just read something today, and I can't remember where
What
I
up,
read it,
Chris?
but listen, I think this month alone, there have been like
Too many.
20 completed, like somewhere in the 20s for completed suicides for law enforcement just the month of December alone. And I could be
Sean Wyman, do you know how many? I just seen Sean just come on the show. Hey, buddy, do you know how many been in the past month? Or is that what you were saying? Just in
December? Just in December.
Sean,
Because we're not even halfway. Well, we're just halfway through December.
Today the 16th.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
This is a bad time of the year. This was my time, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or right about this time? Because
January is when you like really clicked, but the very beginning of January. So yeah, this was about the time.
Doug Levine said I'm going to hell with the rest of them. At least I won't be alone. Your ass will be there with me.
Hey.
Listen, I just want to give a shout out to Linda Ryan, who said she loves my shirt.
Stupid ass cat.
So I have to. Thanks, Linda.
Cat for the kitty?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kitty cat over here.
I'd usually meow, but my high-pitched vocal cords don't work right now.
You got that sexy 1-800 voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can talk to me.
Get that Barry White voice going deep time.
Yeah, we'll get 6 Christmas songs on there.
That's it. That's what made Howard Stern like famous. Women sitting on the with that bass, getting really deep, Yeah. So the theme is, and actually, I want to take a quick second. We got to spend some time with my team at work this past weekend, and what a great group of people.
Our team or your team?
My team, the new team that I'm a part of. And they came together on Saturday to work a case and did an amazing job right here through the holidays to make sure a family gets closure. And I just want people to know that, law enforcement officers, first responders in general, they pour their hearts out. And they do it, and they continue to do it, not for their own gratification, but to help the families. And not an easy time either. I mean, we're in the holiday season. We should be loving the hell out of each other. And, when somebody gets killed, that team comes together and they work their butts off. They work nonstop. And just what an incredible group of men and women that worked on their days off and nonstop to make sure that they completed that. And they did an incredible job. So
you guys had a homicide?
Yeah. And it's just amazing to watch them all work and how efficient and effective they are. It's an honor to be a part of that group, and Doug Levine, he actually leads the forefront on that, and you get that daddy time, and he just lets us work. And so as gruff and grumpy as he is, I got to say I appreciate the hell out of you because you make a difference in all of our lives. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So who are we gonna kick this off?
Yeah.
Are you gonna do it?
Yeah, however you
I don't know. I've been
it.
gone so long, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So I'm just keep looking at Karen, waiting for her to cut me off again. I was ready.
You were ready.
I was ready, and I started, and she just shut me down.
I'll judo chop her if she comes at you again.
Yeah.
Judy chop. There goes your arm. See? So the theme of this week is perseverance. Persevere through all that we go through, and not only at work, but in our personal lives. It's not easy. It's not easy to, especially during the holiday season, to get that phone call, to go to work, to stay connected. I started my first day of vacation today, and I was completely unplugged. But the world doesn't stop. My little girls had to get to school. They had to get picked up. They had to have that daddy time. And then we still got to plug into, our adult lives and what matters. And, finishing up on a homicide, there's still phone calls that you got to take and all that other stuff. It just doesn't stop. So I had a lot of time to reflect today on what perseverance looks like. And I can tell you, maybe when we stop and we don't push through, that's when shit gets serious, right? Mm-hmm. Because we're our own enemies, and we get lost in our own thoughts and what makes us who we are and why we do it. And honestly, a lot of times that's not a pretty picture. Mm. What we look like to ourselves, the world doesn't see our hurt, our pain, any of that. And how do we get through it? And I think we've kind of highlighted in every single one. I mean, you got to have a group of people to communicate with. You got to have family members that you can lean on. You got to have a strong mind, a healthy body to continue to fight through. And you just can't stop. I know that the more that I fill up my mind with whether it's reading or spiritually praying, listening to positive music. I can get into some great music, some hate music for white kids, like Eminem would say. But I don't get stuck in that. I got to find a way to fill my cup. And that's what continues to help us all push through what we got going on. Doug's going to face some challenges here in the next month with surgery. And there's a lot of positive things coming on at that same exact time, the First Responder 5K. What a great event. And he's going to have to persevere through the pain, the agony, and continue to march down the road, making the connections and the changes, and helping people to engage where they're at and what they're doing. So I think my message in perseverance is don't stop. Don't let that quiet time, that time that you're all by yourself, left to think and to think about who you are and what you've done, to take you down that negative road. And I know that that's easier said than done, but find the goodness, find the good stuff, and reach out and tell. It's always a great time to pick up the phone, look through your contacts, and say, oh shit, I haven't talked to him in forever. Let me call him and say, I miss you. I hope you're doing well. I've actually, since we've started this podcast, reconnected with quite a few people. What a great feeling. Mm-hmm. It's a great feeling that people are now, I'm seeing them pick up the phone and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you today. I can't necessarily talk to you, but I hope you're well. And it helps me. I mean, I even feel great about it too. And we're the ones sitting here saying this, but my support group has gotten better. It has gotten even bigger. And I'm talking to every one of you listening or that will listen later on, that makes a difference. Because I can tell you, it's not all just rainbows and butterflies for me either. I mean, I've been very blessed in a lot of endeavors that I've been able to take, but there's a lot of challenges and everything else that we face. Gender reassignment surgery.
It freaking Chris, man.
I love that.
He's ragging on my shirt. This shirt used to be big on me, Chris, but I've gotten puffy over the past few weeks. Like all this travel I'm doing, I eat too good. My buddy Thayer feeds me like I'm.
I love that.
Yeah, it's not going to go over so well. Once I have that surgery, I'm going to blow up like a tick. Maybe I get some lipo while I'm under the knife.
Oh, I love that. Just shave it off.
Yeah, I got a little bit of.
Take the back.
I got
off.
Side titty kicking over here. I need to get sucked
that
out.
Side boob. Yeah, I love that.
So, what, babe? God dang it again, man! Like every time I take a breath, Chris, what have y'all done to me?
No, go.
Well, you know what it was.
She wasn't even going to come tonight, and I was like, she goes, "You sure you want me to?" And I didn't want to be rude.
Things to do.
There's
you
nothing
did,
more important
but
than
she had to
Doug
come,
Munder right now.
Yeah, thank you. It's all about me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, no, baby.
How dare you?
Yeah, you can come if you want. And all the while, I'm like, great. I'm never going to get 2 words in if she comes. She misses me so much, I guess she feels like, go ahead.
I forgot.
Since you've ruined the show.
I forgot.
Go ahead and just ruin it some more.
You take that back, Karen. Right now.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, you just wanted to talk. Well, you want to tell everybody about your cat shirt, or your cat socks or something. Oh, my God, man. Anyway, so, like, I have a message. Can I?
Oh, y'all buckle up. Doug
Yeah.
said he had a message. I
got
love
a
this message.
So one of the things I wanted to say, what you were leaning on, Chris, is, reaching out and that support system, which Kevin just typed in there, that it's important to have that support system as a first responder. But the key is during this time of the year, it always cracks me up. You get the Christmas morning, I get the 101 text or the messengers of, Merry Christmas to all the people, that type of stuff. Karen said something the other day, like, we got Christmas cards this year, which is a shocker because nobody takes the time to call anymore. Nobody takes the time to send cards anymore. And it's like, oh, I'm too busy, man. Well, that's a crock of crap because back in the day before all this, we did take the time to do it. So, you can, like I always say, make a list. Make a list of people. And like Saturday, I drove 2.5 hours just to go see my brother for a couple minutes, just because I'm not going to see him on Christmas, right? I mean, it wasn't easy. I don't like to drive.
Right.
I travel all the time, but it was important for me to at least have that contact with him.
Right.
But it's super important that you do it, and when you and you mean it. it's just like the old standard, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm good, right?
Don't say it unless you mean it.
Yeah, you got to mean it. You got to reach out and do it. And to persevere, I mean, that's obviously not with the definition of persevering, but this is an important time of the year. As we were talking, I got a text from somebody out in Texas who needs some help. So obviously, it's a bad time of the year. It was a bad time of the year. This is still a horrible time of the year for me. We haven't really done holidays in 5 years? How long has it been since Cameron's been gone? 5 years? So
6.
I just don't like this time of the year. I always leave during the holidays because, this was one of the last times I saw my son was right around Christmas. So, it's rough. But the key to persevering is, for me, I was known for perseverance. Shit, I got the word tattooed on the side of my body. But as much as I could persevere in this arena, like running marathons and Ironman and all the crap that we used to do at work, I was so exhausted mentally that I didn't have the strength or the energy. And when I say energy, like physical energy, I was never short of. But mental energy can deplete anything.
Everything.
You could be pumped up full of steroids, and physical energy can just suck the life out of you. And that's what I didn't have to persevere. But if I had to define something in my background, would you agree that that's me? If I had to put one word, because that's what I've always done. When I got out of treatment, the first thing I did with no training was fly to San Francisco and swim from Alcatraz. For me, not to show off to anybody. Right. Who cares, right? I've got all those medals. This was just for my mind to say, hey, listen, if I can do this, then I know I still have it in me. Well, I got about halfway across the bay, and I was like, oh, crap, I don't think I'm going to make it. I got a cramp. Until I saw a shark, then I was out of there. But you've got to reach down into your deep. Go ahead, babe. I can't even take it no more, man.
Yeah,
You're stressing me out.
I'm going to jump in because you said something, and this happens with you.
I'm persevering through my marriage right now. It's like I'm a Santa Claus for trade-in.
You are. I know you're not going to. So let's just get that straight right there. Don't be silly. He'd starve to death. And you said something, Chris, about when you are sitting there by yourself and there's nothing going on and it's quiet time, and that's when, for some people, it can be really, really hard. And for you, those are your hardest moments, when you are sitting at home by yourself and there's nobody there. There are times where, Doug will say, I can't wait for you to get home just so that there's somebody to talk to.
Right.
So those really are the hardest times for you. And for somebody who is struggling, that is when it becomes very difficult to grasp onto that perseverance and to think to yourself that I can get through that. So that's when people need to come in and really rally around and get those support systems for our brothers and sisters, because it can be very difficult. Doug is the type of person who, I tell him all the time, he perseveres through everything. We have this back surgery coming up. Is he worried about it?
I love how you said we.
I mean, we're a team. Yeah. We do everything together. When, last year when he had his shoulder surgery that almost killed him, we got through it together. And we've got this back surgery coming up, and I'm terrified of it. I know what we went through last year with his surgery, and that was horrible. This is terrifying to me. Right. Not only because there's risk of infection involved, and we've already dealt with that, but there's risk of a lot of other things involved. So I'm terrified. You're nervous because he knows that he's going to, it's going to be handed to him. And he's going to be down, and he doesn't like to be down. But together, we're going to persevere through that. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be scary. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be some really, really tough days and some tough times, but we're trying to mentally prepare for it so that we can get through it.
So let's look into that really quick. So when Doug has surgery and he's sitting his lazy butt in the hospital and he can't do anything, how much time do you give him to himself?
In the hospital?
Yeah.
I don't leave his side.
Well, so you hear that. So what I'm getting at is, that downtime, that quiet time, you don't have to be by yourself.
No.
And that's a way to get through it, is take your partner, your soldier, whoever that person is, and cling to them. Have those conversations. When you see that person getting shitty in bed and slumping down and like, oh, I'm hurting. Yeah, okay, well, let's take the next step. Let's do whatever we got to do. Let's change the subject. Let's talk about something. Let's engage our brains. Let's make a change in that moment to make it through. Go ahead.
Or let's talk about it. Let's talk about.
No, fuck that. I don't want to talk about it.
No,
I'm sorry.
It took a second for that to click. Sometimes you need to talk about what really is going on, and sometimes that helps. It helps for you to process it. If you talk about what's going on and what's bothering you. So
I don't ever have a chance to talk, so I don't know what she's talking about. I have to fly to Seattle to see my therapist.
So much.
I literally had to fly to Seattle last week to talk to my therapist because I needed to process this.
This right here.
Yeah, I was like $1,000 plane ticket just to go talk to my therapist.
Just so you could talk, apparently.
Yeah, Kevin said, "Don't be an asshole."
Don't be an asshole. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We appreciate everybody listening. Call a friend, reach out. We'll be right back. Doug, Karen, Chris, Jesse, Paul.
Listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com. Space Coast Podcast. Talk hard!
Hey, it's Vinny with the Vinny Marino Podcast Show. I want you to join me Wednesday evenings as we tackle all the crazy headlines and uncover what's missing. Also, we will have exciting guests from our community who have seen it all and not afraid to spill the beans about it. And finally, we can't forget about Vinny's top rants and raves about traffic, restaurants, and events. Join us on Facebook as we go live and take you behind the scenes of each show and let you be a part of it. It's the Vinny Marino Podcast Show, raw, unedited talk all the time, straight to your dome. Live from the Space Coast Podcast Studios. Listen everywhere you find podcasts.
Steven,
Why, yes, Christopher.
what are you doing?
I am scribing down some ideas for the next podcast of the Black Dog Confessional.
Oh, Mitzi had spoke of that. She said it is rather wonderful.
Well, we try to succeed, Christopher. We try to succeed. We're talking about all the proper etiquette techniques that we can this week.
Do you think everyone is listening?
I definitely believe so, Christopher.
Well, if they're not, they better get on the game!
Three, two, one, 1, 2, 3. Karen said, all of you guys that run your wives off and talk about your wives are going to be mad when they say screw it. No, we're not. We're going to be happy. Party time.
You say that.
Throw a hip out. How about that?
You say that.
I gotcha. Welcome back. Welcome back to Survived on the Space Coast Podcast. Doug Mond is back with us. Welcome home. Karen with her cat shirt and her Santa hat. and I'm on vacation with losing my voice, so it couldn't get much better than this.
Nah, it's all right. You ain't got nobody to talk to.
That's
Probably
right.
Talked so much during that homicide that you probably wore your voice out.
Yeah.
I had to call him the other day and check on him because
He saw a picture of me. He said, "You look stressed the F out."
Aw.
well, I know that it's a hard transition what you made. You know what I mean? To go from, I mean, even though you're still in the ivory tower, it's still, you went from some freedom to, and you know, like a lot of people don't realize, like you're in the detective bureau, you have the moments where, yeah, you can go take a 2-hour lunch, but when the bottom drops out, you're there until the party's over.
Yeah, and
There's no going home.
It's a lot of mental labor, and that's what, that's why I take a month off. I probably, well, we'll see what the year looks like. After being in community policing for 4 years, and that's a lot of what I've done over the last couple of weeks. I've actually came back to help the team, but I stepped away to make sure that I could help my replacement in community policing work through the holiday season. We're going to help over 2,000 kids. So
Wow.
to make that happen, and the volume of toys and the volume of giving that we receive, it's a lot of work, and I couldn't just kick the person out there by themselves. So Levine's been, very courteous and kind to allow us to allow me to go help her in that transition time. So running back and forth, trying to figure out whether I'm coming or going. I took a month off, and I've done that consecutively over the last couple of years because I call it decision-making overload. Having to tell everybody what to do, where to go, how to do it. It's like we get to the holiday season and they're overwhelmed, and what do I get my loved one? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? That they take down that, basically they pull a plug out and they say, okay, now you make the decision for me. I'm not thinking. And so I found myself making significantly more decisions than I ever had to. So I said the way to unplug for me was wipe it completely out, take a whole month off, love my family, get rejuvenated, reset, and come back into the new year with a new plan. And I spend 4 weeks of time to reflect, and come up with a new theme for the year for me personally, and then professionally what that looks like. The theme last year, or for this year, 2019, I got from a dear friend of mine that worked at Walmart. And I don't know, maybe he's listening. But one of the things that he said to me last Christmas was, people first. So I've tried to, make the year about putting people first, and that's helped me to grow. When you put other people before you, and not just my spouse, not just my children, but where I could find the time to plug in and put someone else ahead of me and think about what their life looked like and how I could help them and help make something better for them, or help take care of them, or whatever that looked like. So my theme was people first. And, the year before that, I couldn't even tell you. It feels like 365 days isn't enough. And it just, we pack as much as we can into it. So I look forward to the new year coming and seeing what that looks like. But I can tell you, I don't quit. I don't lay down. I don't stop. Probably even in my dreams, Crystal tells me, my wife, Chris, you snore uncontrollably. And then, like you're apneic or something, you just stop. And she's like, I wait for that next breath, that next snore, because that's what keeps her asleep. And maybe it's not snoring. It's called lullaby time.
Lullaby time.
You
That's
like
called
that?
working hard and super tired.
That's it.
But it's the same definition as perseverance. I mean, you're persevering through, you're chugging through everything. And a lot of it, too, is we two things. We put a load on ourselves over the holidays to keep up and to make everybody happy. And especially if you got kids, you stress yourself out. I used to do that. Buy my kids a dirt bike and all the power wheels and all these like fancy gifts. And then they would get a $2 like styrofoam plane, and that's what they'd play with for the next 3 weeks,
Or the box.
Or the box, right? And, you drive yourself crazy. But, you put that load on it. But on the work side, one of the things I wanted to talk about. So tomorrow I'll be in Dade City, and I'm teaching administration. And one of the messages I got for them is, your workers, whether you're police or fire, dispatch, it doesn't really matter. You're persevering, obviously, on a day-to-day basis. Like, people don't realize, and I do a whole segment on this, just the fact that you get your butt up every day and put a bulletproof vest on to go to work, or as a firefighter, that you got to put on protective gear to go into a building that's on fire.
Right.
Just that alone is enough, because if you say that to most people, as you and I know, when we talk about the things we've done, like, oh, you got to be out of your damn mind. I don't like guns. I'm not getting no gunfight. And then we look at firefighters and go, man, a house is on fire. You must be out your damn mind, man.
You deal with that.
Let it burn, man. They can build a new one, right? That would be my attitude.
Eventually it burns out. You don't even need to put water on it.
Why even do it? But you just that alone, to persevere through that is a ton. I mean, that is enough to break the horse. It really is. But one of the things that even administration needs to consider when they're what their workers are, is that they need to obviously learn to recognize when somebody is persevering through a hard time. I mean, because obviously it's a crappy situation to be in. Your boss has got a boss, and his boss got a boss, and they've got deadlines, and the whole CYA thing in our industry. It's really the killer of our industry nowadays is CYA, because everything's about not offending anybody, not hurting anybody's feelings, and just that type of stuff. So they need to be able to recognize that when their employees persevering. I mean, if you especially in our industry, and I always talk about this, if your guy was getting his butt kicked out in the middle of the field, would you turn your back and leave him, just sit out there and growl? Hell no. You would come in there, with full forces. Everybody shows up. Everybody comes running. If it was us, we'd be coming with armored vehicles and shields and all the type. We'd never leave our guys in the battlefield. Right. But when they're struggling on their own, what do we do?
Oh, we would turn our back and walk away.
Most supervisors.
I got somewhere else to be.
How many times in our conversations with the supervisor, don't even tell me about it. Yep. I don't even want to hear about it because I don't want to be involved in, or an IA or whatever. And you're like, come on, man, really? It's rare. One of the last guys I worked for who was good like that was Gordon.
Yeah.
He made it a point to get into everybody's life and to sit down and talk to you. And in this day and age, and in the CYA era, everybody wants quick to document and quick to write you up and quick to freaking pass you on. And you got supervisors now who sit there all day and look at body cam video and call you in their office and go, hey, I saw you do this, I saw you do that. Right. And what they're doing is they're continually putting a larger load on their guy. And so what takes place is, just as you're coming up for a breath of air, you're getting slapped in the face with something else, right? Yep. And then how do you persevere through that? Personally, that's where the load comes. And, and unfortunately, when it rains, it pours. Is that the saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Pours, it always comes like in a truckload. And my biggest segment, obviously, is the wheelbarrow effect. I always tell guys, man, you got to dump your wheelbarrow. You got to lighten the load on yourself. And how do you do it when you just keep on getting dumped on and dumped on? So it is, it's critical. And how do you do it? I mean, one of the things we have to learn is to recognize it within our guys. Right. And, instead of walking down the hallway and seeing the grumpy dude like I used to be and going, he's just an asshole.
Right.
Instead of going, hey, pulling them aside and going, hey, because the funniest thing is, man, in our careers, right, any kind of first responder career, what we do the most is we go up on a scene and we show compassion. Listen, we all know how I was out there, but I still had compassion for people. Hey, man, let me help you. What can I do for you? Let me talk to you. Come talk to me over here. But we don't do that to ourselves because, that's not what we do. We don't have those conversations. We're big and tough. Yep. And we do that with people that we don't even know. right?
Right.
We don't even know them.
It's easy because
They don't even like us.
Okay, they don't like us, but they don't judge us. That's like, oh, I don't give a shit what they think. But so I can be compassionate with that person because they don't know me.
Yeah.
But if I'm compassionate with you, if I tell you where I'm at today, or 3 weeks ago, sorry, I had to clear my throat. Or 3 weeks ago, then you might think I'm weak. And if you think I'm weak, then I can't work with you because maybe you go and tell somebody, Chris is weak. Man, he told me that he loved me and he thought that that call really bothered him.
Yeah, that which, for the most part, really isn't the case. But that's
right.
Kevin just, sorry to cut you off, Chris.
No
but Kevin just said, let go of your ego and talk with your support group. That you couldn't have said it any better because listen, are you all right, babe?
I've got what?
No, I didn't say jump in. I just asked.
I'm going to have to jump in a minute. Finish with Kevin because we actually talked about that on the last podcast.
So, all right, step back a minute. Stressing me out. So, because I need to see Chris.
That's right.
So, when does your ego, and I'm probably guilty of this too, when does your ego become more important than your compassion and your love for your fellow workers?
And I can tell you, and I can actually speak for absolutely everything you just said. It's not your ego. Because even in the shittiest of moments or the best of moments, you walked into the police department and you said, screw that. Someone extends their hand to shake it. He said, I don't do that crap. Come on, we hug it out, right? Yeah. He said, I don't do that crap. You call me Doug. We're on a first name basis here. We're brothers. We're sisters. It's not about ego because you let your barriers down, even at your worst moments, and you let us in, the people that were close. And everybody else, you wanted us to stand up and say, hey, why don't you freaking change your attitude? Why don't you get over it? Like, he freaking loves the hell out of us. He would do anything for us. He would catch a bullet. Well, I feel that way about somebody else right now, currently going through some crap. He don't know how to pick his head up out of the water and get that breath. He's freaking, drowning, and he doesn't know how to get ahead of it. And eventually he's going to see what matters and who matters and how all that plays out. We just got to get him there. And to be a part of what's going on, like, my eyes have been opened so much because you really start to see how being a law enforcement officer, all of the perspectives, and what that looks like is this. People want us to be treated equally. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be. But damn it, let me tell you this. When is the person on the news that's talking crap about us willing to stand up and don the armor and go step in front of a bullet? And second to that, when are they going to step in the house and say, ma'am, sir, your son, your child, your daughter, they're dead. They're not willing to do that. None of them are willing to do that. So the people that want to crucify us the most, they don't even understand what we're even about. And that's hard for all of us as being a first responder because honestly, at the end of the day, I don't deserve anything special. But I think when you look through that glass, you got to read what the label says. And it says, I'm more caring, kind, and compassionate than you are. I'm willing to do shit that you're never willing to do.
All right.
And I
talking about the news guy that gets people put makeup on his face.
Yeah, and I don't think that I should be treated the same way. I don't, because you're not willing to do what I'm doing. So when we're talking about our brothers and sisters at work, that whole crap about, oh, we got to CYA, we got to cover our ass. Why don't you just freaking tell them how to do it? Why don't you say, all right, here's what it is. Here's how it goes. You made a mistake. Let's move past that. Here's how we move past that. It's not a law violation. No one died. But, bro, you can't write a report. Let's fix it. Let me help you. Let me teach you how to be the best. Because my best might not look like your best. but damn it, I'm good at something. So let's highlight that, and let's pull that person that's in their darkness, that's falling apart, that can't get their head above water. Why don't we, instead of saying, oh, I look better because I wrote you up, why don't we just help them out and show them how to get through this dark time? Because all they want to do is be accepted, and they want to be a part of the family. And when they're alone and we allow them to think on their own and to have that quiet time, they're not a part of us. It's all about the team effort. It's all about the group. We didn't become cops to be individuals. We became cops to be the family.
Can I jump in now? I want to go back just a minute because
Take us back.
Because we talk all the time about support your brothers and sisters, support your brothers and sisters. Then every once in a while we touch on admin, and you touched on admin, and then we jumped right off that topic. And if it doesn't start from the top,
right,
and if there's not buy-in, it has to start from the top and trickle down. And when we talk about admin, they're so busy, and they have a whole lot of stuff on their plate on top of looking after all of their staff and their officers and their firefighters. But
you got to tell them how to do it.
Admin, that's your leadership. And in leading, you have to, or they have to lift up. And so that's where that buy-in comes, and that's where it's so important that not only are we talking about you guys supporting each other, but that we're getting the word out there to the leadership out there that there has to be buy-in, because you guys are looking up to your admin to help you persevere through things.
Yeah,
and
Chief's
so
the short guy.
Yeah, just a short man.
So
So hold on, I want to cut you off for a minute, but I'll let you go back on. So yes, you're right, but here's the issue that I always say: you do need to have buy-in from the top, but that comes in an organizational structure. Because I always say, when everybody puts that crap out there, here I go again, stop the stigma, break the stigma. No, bull crap. Fix the freaking problem. So not only do there is a component that needs to be buy-in from the chief on down, or the fire's
right,
chief as well, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that because I had one chief that told me to get my act together and get back to work. And then I had another chief who put me in his car and drove me. Changed the whole way
right,
I did. I'm here today because of my chief.
because of that.
yeah.
But I also, what's really important, and I'm looking at people on the screen, and most of the people in our audience, they get this, right? We have to start from the bottom as well. It can start from the bottom. You don't have to, listen, you don't have to have a chief say, yeah, it's okay to go do that. We can take care of each other out there. And that was one of the things that we learned in that training I went to, the Inner Armor training. These guys in London came over, right? And I went to North Carolina, spoke there, and then did the training. And really the core value of that was communication, how to communicate with your fellow officers when they're struggling, because that's a big deal too.
What do you mean? I can't be a dickhead the whole time?
No, well, that's my
I'm
job.
sorry for that, but I mean
That's my job.
Right.
That's my New Year's resolution. I'm going to be the same asshole this year as I was last year. So, there's two parts of it. Obviously, you do need buy-in from the chief or from the top and the command staff in order for that trickle-down effect in a department when it comes to policies and treatment and care in the department, and whether it's peer support programs. But you also have to have buy-in with everybody in the agency. Somebody has to make the move, because it will domino effect on there. And the stigma thing, we're like, oh, it'll come back and bite me in the ass years down the road. Because I had a buddy of mine ask me about that. Well, I can't speak for every state and every organization, right? Nobody can do that. But I can tell you this. If you have a problem mentally and you seek help for it, there are rules in place that shut that down. I know for a fact because how many guys tried to get my personal records. I even had defense attorneys try to get my records, and I sat there and watched judges tell them to beat it.
Pound sand.
Yeah, pound sand. You're not getting it. So between HIPAA rules and whatever the law is that governs us, out of Washington, but here's the key. This is where everybody met, and I did this too.
Right.
So here I was, a guy who put a gun to his head and pulled the trigger, but my SWAT teammates didn't want to tell because they didn't want me to lose my job.
Right.
Do you see the component there? When you got a first responder out there who's messed up, and everybody knew I was messed up. Obviously there was a part of me that was always wild and crazy, but there was a huge transition in my behavior. And instead of sitting there, you got to realize, like, hey, man, listen, this health issue and this mental issue is the most important part right out the gate. Screw the job. Because, and I hear a lot of guys, even ones that I talk to and that call me, and they're like, I don't want to lose my job. And I'm like, you don't need to worry about losing your job.
Right.
You need to worry about losing your life. Yeah. Because if you think that you can beat it, that's what people don't understand. The funny term, losing your mind. I know what that's like. I lost my mind. I lived it. Like Karen will tell you, like, there's been moments where I sit there and I go, I'm losing my mind. Like, nothing's working. I can't focus. I can't concentrate. I hear things. I imagine things. Like, you can look at me and, Karen will tell you, like, she lived it this weekend. You look at me wrong, I'm going to, and I'm not in that right state of mind, you're getting your ass kicked. Yeah. There ain't no stopping me. And so that's all a big component when you're losing your mind. She's giving me the look.
Let me take you one step back
she's
for all
the
the listeners. You didn't kick her ass this weekend, just to be clear. Right.
That's what I was going to jump in and say. He wasn't going to kick her ass.
It was some dude in a parking lot.
Yeah.
I just sat in the car and I was like, oh good
here
God, here we go.
Yeah.
I always tell her, just leave because it's going to get ugly.
I love that. It's not easy. But a lot of times, and I think mainly this is what it is. I think sometimes you even need to tell the leadership, the senior leadership or the command staff, whatever that looks like, you need to tell them what's next. You need to tell them how to buy into it. And if, there's a couple laws and theories out there that say, people are smart enough to lead from the pack. They don't need to go be number one, and they won't be the last one, but they have more influence in the middle. It might be the Peter Principle or something like that. But anyways, that person with the influence in your agency that buys into all of this, they need to be your mouthpiece, and they need to, and maybe I'm specifically talking to you, whoever's listening in that agency, go talk to the senior leadership and tell them, here's what we got. Here's who it is. And this is the direct path. Maybe it's time for those leaders that haven't been identified that everybody knows as the leaders to step up and start moving. Maybe it's the time at 215 completed suicides this year. Maybe for 2020, maybe all the people that have influence in the agencies, maybe it's time for you to step up and say something, to start moving, to take the next steps forward. If you don't know how, connect with us. We'll start pushing you in that direction. There's a lot of states throughout the United States that are starting to move to get, their government buying into it, to pass bills, to make sure that you're safe, that you can get help, that you can have that difference in your life and continue to be a first responder. Listen, Doug and I both know that you're screwed up because maybe we're screwed up too.
Yeah.
So don't think you're by yourself. I don't know any first responder I tell you, if you come to where I work, the first day out of the box, you're likely to see someone die. You're likely to be the first one on scene for the most gnarliest crap you could ever imagine. It happens. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cops on their first day of solo patrol, even in an FTO, that are going to go to some gnarly stuff. So you're not out there by yourself. We've been through it. Your battle buddy's been through it. the person that you talk to, if they're not a first responder, maybe they haven't, but I mean, there's a way to get plugged in, and we'll connect with them, and we'll help you through that. Connect with us on Facebook, call the phone number, reach out, ask a friend for help. There's 100 ways to, and 100 great agencies, and probably more, that are willing to help you. Wherever you're at, whatever's going on in your life, take a moment. Don't be by yourself. I mean, don't slow down. Push harder, push faster. Fill your heart and your mind up with something that keeps you positive. Fill your cup with the positive. Even when the shit is bad, when the water sucks, you got to push through. You see that shark, you swim a little harder. Whatever it is, don't let whoever it is try to continue to bring you down, and don't you bring you down. Be with somebody. Stay busy. Keep your mind busy. Push through, push hard. The holidays aren't easy. It brings back all those emotions, and we're not where we want to be or doing what we want to do. It's not easy, but know that about you. Know that about your battle buddy to the left and to the right of you, and stick together. Go in packs. Go on a sniper team. Always two, right?
Now you're talking my language.
There it is.
You
There
just
it
got
is.
me excited.
I love that smile. I love that smile. I love when I get to see Doug smile.
I don't smile often, but you say that magic word, boy, I get excited. So you're right. You're 100% right. So I'm gonna chime in real quick. Hey, Brian Barrett, I saw you up there earlier. I'm sorry I didn't say hi. So here's the thing. Deep down inside, man, we all have it. We all have it in us to persevere. I mean, you see the stories where like the mom lifts the car off their kid, and all them radical stories and survival stories. Man, we do this on a daily basis in our career, but we don't do it enough in our personal lives because we're so exhausted. So the key component is set your mind, set your goals, maybe try it for the new year coming in, and say, hey, these are the things that I'm going to do this year. It's real important that you make yourself healthy and happier. You have to make yourself priority one. And like we always say in Spec Ops, Chris, right? You can't save somebody else, can't save yourself.
That's true.
Period. So you've got to you have to take better care of yourself. And the ultimate goal is to get through this career and to be happy. And I think people lose focus on being happy. You become more focused on what changed. Did you hear that?
The fan.
Oh, so we get more focused on all the other things and not the important things. And I'm guilty of it too. We lose focus on being happy.
Right.
I personally have to come home from my trips every week in order to see Karen to be happy. There's certain things that I have to do. I have to have her sing to me for 5 hours a day, and do all the silly stuff she does and to make me laugh. Those are just some of the things that I have to do, and they get away from me. And sometimes it gets worse, and she has to put her foot down and go, "Hey, you're messing up. You're starting to do it." I can get on here and talk all the crap I want, but I'm the worst when it comes to take care of myself. Right. I can swim. See that?
Cat-like reflexes. Good thing
I
you
can
wear that
swim.
shirt.
I can bike. I can fight. I can do all those things.
Right.
But when it comes time to self-care, because I'm notorious for always worrying about everybody else versus
Right.
you spend
Typical
so much
first
time
responder,
taking
right?
it. So I encourage everybody to make sure that they focus on taking care of themselves. It doesn't always have to. I can't read. And one of the things, if you do take care of yourself better, some people will see that in you. I know when I came back to work, people saw it in me, and,
Right.
and it started to change, and people started to ask questions. Focus on yourself. And part of that with taking care of yourself better is it doesn't need to be a Facebook thing. I'm literally sick and tired of Facebook because listen, it's look at me, I had a surgery, look at me, I'm here, look at me, I'm there. And none of it's positive. And if it's positive, it's bullshit.
Right.
It's just somebody going, oh yeah. we spend too much time. We could do a whole episode on that. We spend too much time worrying about everybody else and what everybody else is doing, what everybody else has got. We need to start, and everybody needs to take a step back. And I say everybody in our component. I'm not worrying about the doctors and lawyers. And listen, I'm worried about the cops and firefighters and the other first responders. We need to circle back and start from square one and start to regroup and take better care of ourselves, because people, man, it is horrible out there. The world is getting to be a nasty, nasty place. People hate us, right? Absolutely. Like I always tell everybody, nobody's putting the cops on calendars with our shirts off, you know? So we need to take care of each other a lot more. It's really, really important. And that's kind of it on my tangent. You know, this is probably the last show for the year, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Karen, unless we can squeeze it in. Karen's got some announcements to make.
I don't know. December 30th, we could...
We're not going to be here. We're going to be out of town.
Having a hobby really helps. Yeah, having a hobby helps. Having all kinds of stuff. You've got to pick your things, and you got to stick to it. And for the New Year's, what I challenge everybody to do is, instead of setting the New Year's resolution like I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to lose weight, that's a crock of shit. Your ass is going to be fat in 3 weeks anyway, right?
Right.
So how about just setting a simple goal of like saying, I'm going to start to take better care of myself.
And that's why I said, you know, I don't set a goal. I set a theme for the year.
Yeah.
People first. I didn't even consider myself, you know, for 2019. I said, I guess I did. What can I do to help people? You know, of course the show started, you know, we've connected with so many different people to put people first, and which is incredible to me. But when you set that theme, listen, I have a rule. I go back to this rule real quick because you were talking about food. At the police department, the first year I came into community policing, I'm walking through Sam's with the chief. He's like, man, I'm hangry. I said, yeah, there's a new rule. By the way, October, November, and December, I don't care about January. October, November, December, when I'm working, there are no diets. Y'all should cut that crap out. You would drink all the eggnog, eat all the cookies, all the cake, all the turkey, whatever you eat during the holidays. Hey, have some fun, live once, right? I'm tired of diets, especially October, November, December. So that's the rule. Come out and party with us this weekend, December 21st, at the Dirty Oar, right?
Yes.
Have a good time. Drink, be merry. Bring your friends, bring your family. If you're by yourself, wear a T-shirt. Wear an ugly sweater that says, only me, or I'm by myself. I don't know, something. We'll find someone to connect with you. I don't know. We'll introduce you to somebody. But it's important to get out of the house, to have people around you. I couldn't say it enough. I'm going to let Karen take us out of here with of what's coming up. We expect to see you in January.
I'm going to chime in on one comment really quick. Sean said, do people really hate us or you guys, or is this just the perception that people hate you guys? I'm gonna agree with that. I think the media, and like you said, we go on social media all the time and we're so focused on that kind of stuff that I think the perception that I agree you guys don't get the respect that you deserve, but I think that a big perception that because of media is everybody, hates the cops. I can tell you
I think the majority of people love us.
The majority of people love first responders and support first responders. And I think that's really, really, really important for us to say that the majority of people really do love you guys and appreciate you guys and realize that we don't do your job because we couldn't do your job. We don't want to do your job, and so we appreciate what you guys do. So thank you, Sean, for bringing that up, because I think it's very easy to get that perception when all we do is listen to the crap that's on the news, listen to the crap that's on social media, and look at the videos of people with their phones that video record. all the nonsense that goes on, but really the majority of people really do love first responders and are so appreciative for everything that you guys do. So thank you very much. Yes, Saturday at the Dirty Ore, we have our holiday party. It starts at 6 o'clock, and so we really, really hope that everybody comes out. We're going to be offering a discount for the Run for Responders 5K, so you can sign up now, but if you come to the party, that's the only place you're going to be able to get the discount at, is if you come to the party and you actually register at our party.
And Paul just said the more the merrier.
The more the merrier, yes. It's going to be a good time, so please come out and join us. January 4th at 6 p.m. we have our Run for Responders 5K. Registration is starting to roll here. Are those medals up now, Jesse? These are your 2 choices of medals. So when you cross the finish line, you will either have your choice of getting the police badge, which is similar to last year's, but we've added a little bit of color. Or if you ran it last year and you want the fire medallion, is that what you call it? The fire medallion, you'll have that choice as well. So it's going to be an amazing night, beautiful night. It's always beautiful in January, and Cocoa Village always has their little sparkly lights still up at that time.
Yeah, it's decorated for Christmas.
Please, you can register on Run Sign Up, and then June 13th, we have our first responder yes, I know, because last time I said first responder ball, and
I said first responders.
And exactly. So we're gonna change it to gala now.
Yeah, I like gala. I like gala.
Gala, it's got to be gala.
Gala, whatever you want to call it. Ball. I don't really care. We can call it balls if you want. Whatever. But it's gonna be an amazing night. So keep your ears peeled for that, because we're gonna start selling tickets in February, right? Didn't we decide the very beginning of February we're going to start selling tickets for that? So first up, we'll see you Saturday night, and then we'll see you in January. I don't think we'll be back before the year ends out, so Merry Christmas to everybody.
Happy New
Year, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all that stuff, and
happy whoever. We love you.
Yeah.
I mean, tell someone you love them. Tell a first responder you love them. We're so appreciative for all of your support throughout this year. We look forward to a great next year. Pray for Doug. Pray for all of us. And we'll see you soon. I think we're out.
See ya.
2 to the body, 1 to the head.
Cats rule.